Friday had turned out surprisingly easy, and I managed to slip out of the office almost 2 hours early. A plan was already forming in my mind. Stop by the florist, pick up a bouquet of her favorite lilies, then head home, light some candles, and order dinner from that new Thai restaurant she had been dreaming about. I wanted to create the perfect start to the weekend, a small romantic escape from our routine. But as it turned out, the only escape waiting for me wasn't romantic at all. The key turned in the lock almost soundlessly. A pleasant twilight filled the entryway, filtering through the curtains from the setting sun. The house greeted me with familiar silence, broken only by the distant barking of a dog outside, a reminder of life beyond these walls. I set my briefcase on the floor, shrugged off my jacket, and headed to the bedroom to change before going out for the flowers. The bedroom door was wide open. A soft dimness hung over the room, the furniture barely emerging from the shadows. But something immediately felt off. I sensed it the moment I stepped inside, a subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the familiar space. At first, I couldn't pinpoint what had changed. The bed was made, though not perfectly. The nightstands were in order, her mirror and perfume bottle resting on the dresser. A bit untidy, but still our shared space. And yet, an itch under my skin told me something was wrong. Then I saw it. A faint glint of metal under the bed, barely visible against the dark carpet. I squinted, leaned down, and my heart skipped a beat. Handcuffs. Real steel handcuffs, carelessly tossed beneath our bed, as if someone had tried to hide them in a hurry. The cold metal caught the dim light, making them look foreign. Threatening. I pulled them out. Heavy. Ice cold in my palm. I turned them over, examining them, desperately searching for a logical explanation. A prop for one of her photo shoots? But Samantha wasn't into photography. A prank. But whose? And how the hell did they end up under our bed? Anxiety began to creep in, replacing the romantic mood like water flooding a sinking boat. My mouth went dry, my palms damp. I set the handcuffs on the nightstand as if they were burning coal and scanned the room again, this time with more focus. And then I noticed something else. The sliding closet. Its doors were always perfectly aligned, their mirrored surfaces reflecting the room down to the smallest detail. But now, one door was slightly ajar, barely a millimeter off. A small thing, something I normally wouldn't even register. But in this tense silence, every detail screamed of something being wrong. I stepped closer and carefully slid the door open. Clothes, shoes, boxes, everything in its place, the usual order. But on the shelf with the towels, a roll of duct tape. Thick, gray, industrial, completely out of place among soft, neatly folded bath towels. Next to it, a torn piece, its edge jagged, as if it had been ripped off in haste. My pulse quickened, a dull pounding forming in my temples. Handcuffs under the bed. Duct tape in the closet. What the hell was going on? I reached for the towels, and then I smelled it. Faint. Subtle. But sharp. Unfamiliar. Not her perfume. Not our laundry detergent. Something musky, strong. Male. Almost aggressive. A stranger's scent. In our bedroom. And then, I saw the towel. A plain white towel, but oddly out of place. Not stacked neatly with the others but stuffed deeper into the closet, half buried beneath a pile of bedsheets. I pulled it out. It was damp. And the scent, the stranger's cologne, was stronger now, mixed with something else. Sweat. A man's sweat. A cold wave rolled through me. The romantic evening I had envisioned shattered into dust, crushed under the weight of these unsettling discoveries. Instead of flowers and candlelight, handcuffs, duct tape, and the scent of someone else in our bedroom. Suspicion, like poison, seeped through my veins, tainting everything familiar, turning our home into a battlefield. And one thought pulsed through my head, over and over again. What the hell is happening here? And who is the man whose scent is soaked into our towel? The doorbell rang sharply, yanking me out of the storm of thoughts swirling in my head. Samantha. My heart pounded harder, a mix of anxiety and anticipation. I hadn't had time to hide what I'd found. I stood there, frozen in the middle of the bedroom, holding a damp towel in my hands, a silent accusation, undeniable evidence. I placed it on the nightstand next to the handcuffs, laying out the weapons for the battle ahead. I heard her enter, the light steps in the hallway, the soft clink of keys as she set them on the shelf. A pause, as if she were listening, and then her measured steps toward the bedroom. I stood motionless, waiting like a statue, fighting the tremor in my hands. She walked in, smiling, fresh, her cheeks lightly flushed. A shopping bag in one hand. Probably groceries. She was wearing a light summer dress, flowing loosely down to her knees. She stopped in the doorway. The smile faded, snuffed out like a candle in the wind. For a split second, something flickered in her eyes. Fear? Annoyance? But it vanished as quickly as it had appeared, replaced by a carefully controlled expression. Pleasant, but tense. Alfred, you're home already? I thought you'd be late. Her voice was just a little too high, a note off key. Yeah, I said shortly, forcing myself to stay calm, though I was burning inside. Thought I'd surprise you. But it looks like I'm the one who got surprised. Her brows furrowed. Confusion? Or just pretending? Surprise? What surprise? I nodded toward the nightstand, where the handcuffs and towel lay waiting. This one. Care to explain what it's doing here? In our bedroom. Her gaze darted to the nightstand, and for the first time, a real emotion broke through. Annoyance, even anger. A moment ago, she had been playing the part of the warm, cheerful wife. Now the mask slipped, revealing something colder, sharper. And in that moment, as she stepped closer, I noticed something. The front of her dress. Something about it was off. The fabric stretched just slightly differently, outlining her body underneath. And suddenly, with chilling clarity, I realized. She wasn't wearing any underwear. Underneath that light, flowing dress. Nothing. In the summer, it wouldn't be strange. But Samantha, she always wore something. Even under the thinnest dresses. It was her habit, her rule. And now it felt like another clue. Another red flag. Another piece of confirmation. Her voice snapped through the silence, sharp, accusatory. Were you going through my things? Her tone had changed completely. Defensive, almost hostile. What the hell are you looking for? I wasn't looking for anything, Samantha. I kept my voice even, though I could feel the anger simmering beneath the surface. I just came home early. Thought I'd do something nice. And instead, I found this. I nodded again at the handcuffs, avoiding looking at the dress, avoiding showing that I had noticed. Can you explain? Explain. She laughed, a harsh, humorless sound. And why should I have to explain anything to you? These are my personal things. She stepped forward, snatching up the handcuffs, as if trying to erase the evidence. And what the hell do you think you're doing? Going through my closet? Under my bed? Are you spying on me now? Samantha, don't twist this, I said, forcing my voice to stay calm. I'm just asking. Handcuffs. Tape. A man's scent. In our bedroom. And now. I barely stopped myself. Barely bit back the words. The underwear. If I said it out loud, I'd sound petty. Like a jealous husband nitpicking over something insignificant. But it wasn't insignificant. And we both knew it. It looks strange. Wouldn't you agree? Her eyes flashed. Strange. This looks like an invasion of privacy. Her voice was rising, almost shouting now. Her face flushed red, eyes burning with fury. You don't trust me? You think I'm doing something wrong. I exhaled slowly. I don't know, Samantha. That's why I'm asking. Just tell me the truth, and this all goes away. The truth. She let out another harsh, humorless laugh. And you'd believe me? Just like that. I want to. You're unbelievable. She shook her head, stepping back. This is my life, Alfred. My things. Not your business. Our life, Samantha, I corrected quietly. The tension in the room was almost tangible now. Our shared life. Our shared bedroom. And if there are handcuffs and a man sent in our shared bedroom, and now you come home wearing nothing under your dress, I think I have a right to ask. Her eyes darkened. She stepped closer, so close I could feel the heat radiating off her skin. You have no right to control me, she hissed, glaring up at me. I am a free woman. I do what I want. With whomever I want. The words hit like a slap. The air seemed to vacuum out of the room. I stepped back, as if physically struck by her words, stunned by their bluntness. Was this really her? Samantha, my Samantha? The woman I had spent years with? The woman I had loved? And now, this. No underwear. No shame. No attempt to even hide it. It wasn't just a detail anymore. It was a symbol. A brazen, shameless symbol of her betrayal. With whomever you want? I repeated, my voice low, struggling to process it. The words burned like acid. Are you saying you're cheating on me? She held my gaze for a long moment, and in that silence, she said more than words ever could. Then, without a word, she turned sharply and threw the handcuffs onto the bed. Leave me alone, Alfred. I don't want to talk about this right now. She brushed past me, her shoulder knocking against mine. And then, she was gone, leaving me standing in the middle of the room, alone. Alone with my suspicions. Alone with my shattered heart. Alone with the thick, poisonous scent of betrayal filling the air. And now, this new, brazen symbol of her infidelity. No underwear beneath her carefree summer dress. And one thought pulsing in my mind, a question more painful than any other. Who? Who was the man she was willing to destroy everything for? And worse, did she even respect me enough to try and hide it? She left, leaving behind a silence so thick and heavy it felt like an unspoken accusation. I stood motionless in the middle of the bedroom, paralyzed. Samantha's words, I do what I want, with whoever I want, echoed in my mind like the aftermath of an explosion. Betrayal. Could it be true? Was this really happening to me? To us? Doubt gnawed at my soul like rust. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this was some terrible misunderstanding. But the handcuffs, the duct tape, the scent, and most of all, her reaction. Her anger, her refusal to explain, it all screamed the same thing. She was hiding something. And that something was betrayal. I needed the truth. I couldn't live in uncertainty, drowning in this toxic swamp of suspicion. I needed proof, undeniable, irrefutable proof that would either dispel my fears or confirm the worst. A hidden camera. The thought struck like a lightning bolt in the dark. Risky, unethical, maybe even illegal. But at that moment, I didn't care. I needed the truth, at any cost. An hour later, I sat in front of my laptop, studying the instructions for a miniature camera I had ordered online with express delivery. My hands trembled with tension, my fingers barely obeying, but I pressed on, step by step, setting up the device, learning the software, preparing for the moment of truth. Setting up the camera was easier than I'd expected. Small, nearly invisible, it fit perfectly in the shadows behind the bookshelf, its lens peeking out from behind a stack of magazines. I aimed it at the bed, the center of our bedroom, the place where our nights unfolded, where love had once reigned. And now maybe betrayal. The next few hours crawled by, unbearable. I tried to work, to distract myself, but my thoughts kept circling back to the bedroom, to the camera, to Samantha. I imagined different scenarios, each worse than the last. My heart clenched with fear and despair. Evening came like a sentence. Samantha returned late, silent, withdrawn. She avoided my eyes, answered questions with single words, as if an invisible wall had grown between us. I watched her secretly, searching for any sign, any hint of what was really going on. But her face was unreadable, like a mask. When she went to bed, I waited until her breathing became deep and even. Then, moving like a thief, I slipped into my office. My heart pounded wildly. My chest felt like it was in a vice. I launched the software, connected to the camera. The screen flickered to life, showing our bedroom, dark, bathed in the dim glow of the nightlight, Samantha sleeping under the covers. Nothing unusual. For now. I rewound the footage to when she got home. There she was, walking in, changing clothes, getting ready for bed. Normal, everyday actions. Nothing suspicious. The tension in my chest eased, but the anxiety remained, coiled deep inside. I fast-forwarded, 1 hour, to a nothing. Just silence and darkness. I was about to turn it off, convinced this had been a stupid idea, that I was overreacting, that my suspicions were unfounded. But something stopped me. A gut feeling. An instinct screaming at me. Keep watching. And so I watched. Silently, barely breathing, eyes locked on the dark screen. And then, movement. A shadow in the corner of the room, near the door. Someone was coming in. My heart slammed against my ribs, my pulse roaring in my ears. A man appeared on the screen. Tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in dark clothes. His face was barely visible in the dim light, just a profile, sharp features, dark hair. A stranger. A man in my bedroom. At night, while I was at work. He walked to the bed, sat beside Samantha. She woke up, said something, smiled, and reached for him, pulled him close, kissed him. Not on the cheek, not a friendly kiss, on the lips, deep, hungry. The blood drained from my face. My ears rang. I watched, frozen, like I was trapped in a nightmare. Watched as they touched, kissed, whispered to each other. Watched as he laughed, his hand tangling in her hair. Watched their bodies move together, merging into one beneath the covers. I watched betrayal unfold. With my own eyes. On a recording. In our bedroom. In our bed. The illusion of a happy marriage shattered, like crystal smashing against stone. Only the truth remained. Bitter. Poisonous. Excruciatingly painful. And the pain, searing through every inch of me, tearing apart my heart, crushing my trust, obliterating the life we had built. And the question, burning in my mind like fire. What now? What do I do with this truth, this pain, this betrayal that has taken root in my home, in my heart? The recording cut off, the screen went dark, yet I remained seated, staring into the black mirror of the monitor, as if waiting for that horrific scene to resurface. But nothing happened. Only silence, and the echo of what I had seen, tearing my mind apart. Betrayal. Not just suspicion. Not just a hunch. An undeniable fact. Caught on video, cold and merciless, like a verdict. Divorce. The word formed in my mind immediately, clear and inevitable, like thunder in a cloudless sky. There was no other way. After what I had seen, after she spat on my soul, crushed my trust, destroyed everything we had, living together was impossible. Unbearable. A traitor could no longer be part of my life. Custody. That was my second thought. Just as clear, just as inevitable. The children, the only thing left untouched, untainted by this filth of betrayal. I wouldn't let her poison their lives. Wouldn't let her raise them in lies and hypocrisy. They would stay with me. That wasn't up for debate. And then came revenge. Not immediately, not as a calculated plan, but as an instinctive reaction. The wounded beast lashing out. Pain, despair, rage, all swirling into a venomous cocktail, demanding release, retribution, justice. No, not justice. Revenge. I wanted her to feel even a fraction of the agony that was tearing me apart. I wanted her to pay for the betrayal, for the lies, for the wreckage of my life. The video. That was my weapon. Proof of her guilt, her disgrace, her fall. I would show it to everyone. Friends, family, colleagues, her parents, everyone who knew us, who thought we were the perfect couple. Let them all see the real Samantha. Let them know who she really was. Let shame and humiliation become her constant companions, just as pain and despair had become mine. No, that wasn't enough. Just showing the video was too easy, too quick. Revenge had to be calculated, slow, excruciating. She had to feel every drop of my suffering, every second of my torment. She had to understand, betrayal wasn't just a mistake. It was a crime, and crimes demand punishment. I started thinking, planning, crafting my strategy like a general preparing for war. The video would be my trump card, but not yet. I wouldn't rush. First, divorce. I'd file the papers immediately. Demand everything. Every last cent, every last piece of shared property. Let her feel financial ruin. Let her lose everything she valued. Then, custody. I'd use the video as evidence of her immorality, her unfitness to be a mother. The courtroom would be my battlefield, where I would publicly shred her reputation, prove to everyone that she was a cheater, a liar, an unworthy parent. And finally, when she was crushed by the divorce, humiliated in court, stripped of her children and her money, then I'd release the video. I'd post it online. Send it to everyone we knew. Make sure every single person in her life saw her disgrace, her downfall. Let her become an outcast, a pariah. Let her feel the full weight of my wrath, my revenge. The plan was taking shape in my mind, sharp, ruthless, like the edge of a blade. And with every detail, every calculated move, the pain in my chest eased, replaced by a cold, triumphant satisfaction. I was no longer the victim. I was the executioner. Revenge would be my cure, my salvation, my path to freedom from this pain and betrayal. But somewhere, deep inside, in the dark corners of my mind, doubt began to whisper. Was this the right path? Would revenge truly bring me peace? Or was I becoming a monster myself, consumed by vengeance? I shoved the doubts away like swatting at flies. Now was not the time for hesitation. Now was the time for action. The time for revenge. And I would see it through, no matter the cost. Samantha would pay. She would pay for everything. The divorce was quick and ugly, just as expected. I didn't back down for a second, wielding the video as an undeniable weapon in court. Samantha tried to defend herself, lying, twisting the truth, scrambling for excuses, but the evidence was irrefutable. The judge was harsh, the verdict was clear. Divorce finalized, full custody of the children granted to me, with her visitation rights strictly limited and supervised by social services. The financial settlement also leaned in my favor. Everything we could claim as jointly acquired remained mine. Her lawyer shrugged helplessly. She cried, screamed, threatened. But none of it mattered anymore. The trial was over. The verdict had been passed. Revenge had begun. But that was just the beginning. The final blow, the video. I released it online, anonymously, yet strategically enough for it to reach the right eyes. Emails, anonymous social media messages, a few well-placed phone calls, and within days, it was everywhere. Circulating across the internet, gaining views, comments, reposts. Samantha's shame became public knowledge. Her secret was dragged into the light, crushing her reputation, her life. I didn't track the reactions. Didn't read the comments. Didn't seek feedback. I just needed to know she was suffering. That she was hurting just as much as I had. Did it bring me satisfaction? At first, yes. A dark, almost sadistic pleasure in knowing that she got what she deserved. That justice, brutal as it was, had been served. But over time, that satisfaction faded, like smoke in the wind. What remained was emptiness. A vast, black, consuming emptiness that swallowed everything in my life. Revenge hadn't healed me. It had poisoned me even further. I had won the battle, but lost the war. I had destroyed her life, but in the process, I had destroyed my own. And then, the children. My boys. My comfort. My pain. They saw everything. Felt the tension. Heard the whispered conversations. Saw their mother's tears. The divorce had scarred them, just as it had scarred us all. They became quieter, more withdrawn. The light in their eyes had dimmed. I tried to be both father and mother to them. But I felt like I was failing, like nothing I did could fill the void that Samantha left behind. Sometimes, at night, after the kids had fallen asleep and the house was steeped in silence, I sat alone with my thoughts, replaying the past in my mind, trying to find the one answer that haunted me the most. Why? Why did she betray me? Where did it all go wrong? Was it me? Did I make a mistake? But there were no answers, only silence, and the echoes of betrayal that still haunted the empty house. Revenge hadn't brought me peace. It hadn't healed the wounds. It hadn't given back what was lost. All it had done was deepen the chasm between me and Samantha, between me and my past, between me and whatever future I once imagined. Years passed. The wounds healed, but the scars remained. The pain faded, but the emptiness never left. The kids grew older, more independent. The light in their eyes returned, though sometimes the shadows of the past flickered in their gaze. Samantha and I no longer spoke. Our only communication was through lawyers, strictly about the children. I didn't know what had become of her after my revenge. And honestly, I didn't care. Sometimes, when I passed by our old bedroom, I would stop at the doorway, staring into the dimness. And I would remember the romantic plans, the little moments, the discovery, the video, the bitterness of revenge. And I would understand. There was no going back. No fixing what was broken. The past was shattered and lost, like a vase broken beyond repair. And there was only one thing left to do. Move forward. With the emptiness in my heart. With the scars on my soul. With the memories of betrayal and vengeance that had changed my life forever. Move forward, searching for a new purpose, a new hope, maybe even a new love, someday in the distant future. But no longer naive. No longer blind. Marked forever by the bitter experience of loss and betrayal that would always be a part of me.